Standing for the invocation by Father Mike Matvinko.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Blessed are you, Lord God, maker of the universe and creator of all things. Look with love on the people of this community and keep them safe in your service. Guide the members of this council and help them to work together for the good of all. Bless their plans and deliberations and bring them to success. And we ask this grace for you, our Lord, our God, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Father. This regular meeting of the Township Council being held in accordance with the scheduled meetings of the Township Council, established and adopted by Township Council, which schedule designated the time and place of this meeting. Adequate public notice has been provided pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act. We are using electronic amplifying device in order to obtain a clear and audible record, and request all those wishing to speak to state your name and address directly to the microphone. The recording device will be solely utilized by the Township Clerk's Office for the preparation of minutes and shall be the official record of the Township Council meetings. Madam Clerk, may I have the roll call, please?
Mr. Hutchison?
Present.
Mr. Owens?
Present.
Mrs. Stubbs?
She's out on medical.
Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mrs. Strato? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Mr. Cardis?
Here.
Mr. Lechner?
Here.
Chief Earl?
Here.
Mr. Chadwell?
Here. We have, before we start our meeting, we have a closed session with a workers' comp attorney. It's resolution 1905-124. That will take prudence about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. So if I can entertain a motion to pass resolution 124, please.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second on the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato? Yes. Mr. Mercado?
Yes, we'll be back within 15 minutes. You're getting closer, if I heard.
Very nice. Yeah, right yours.
I'll walk you upstairs.
Okay. Take care now. We have 10 minutes.
Remember I told you one of the guys wanted to
purpose of our closed session was to discuss a workers' compensation claim and go back to the claimant with a settlement offer. Can I have the roll call, please, again, Madam Clerk?
Mr. Hutchison? Mr. Owens?
Present.
Mrs. Winters? Here. Mr. Mignon?
Here.
Mrs. Strato? Here. Mr. Mercado?
Present.
Mr. Carlemere?
Here.
Mr. Cardis?
Here.
Mr. Lechner? Chief Earl?
Here.
Mr. Chadwell?
Proclamation.
Supporting the clicker ticket mobilization May 20th to June 2nd, 2019. Whereas there were 565 motor vehicle fatalities in New Jersey in 2018. And whereas a large percentage of the motor vehicle occupants killed in traffic crashes were not wearing seatbelts. And whereas use of the seatbelt remains the most effective way to avoid death or serious injury in a motor vehicle crash. And whereas the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that 135,000 lives were saved by safety belt usage nationally between 1975 to 2000. And whereas the state of New Jersey will participate in a nationwide click it or ticket seatbelt mobilization from May 20th to June 2nd, 2019 in an effort to raise awareness and increase seatbelt usage through a combination of high visibility enforcement and public education. And whereas the Division of Highway Traffic Safety has set a goal of increasing the seatbelt usage rate in the state from the current level of 94.5% to 95.5%. And whereas a further increase in seatbelt usage in New Jersey will save lives on our roadways. Therefore, be it resolved by David Mayer, Mayor of the Township of Gloucester, and Orlando Mercado, Council President, do hereby proclaim the Township of Gloucester's support for the click it or ticket seatbelt mobilization, both locally and nationally, from May 20th to June 2nd, 2019, and pledge to increase awareness of mobilization and the benefits of seatbelt usage.
Waive the reading and accept the minutes of executive session April 1st, 2019, and regular meeting April 8th and 22nd of 2019. Entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second on the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mrs. Winters? Yes. Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Strato?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. Next, we have our public portion. This public portion is for agenda items only. Anyone addressing council may speak at one time. Again, this is for agenda items only. We do have a second public portion. Anyone can speak about any topic after our consent agenda is approved. Anyone wish to speak on public portion of consent on the agenda? Mr. Krug?
Paul Krug, Blackwood Estates. Just looking at Resolution 129 and 132, do you have to close out the authorization for year 2018, hence Resolution 129, and then open it for 132, or for fiscal year 2019?
Bear with me.
What I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, the 129 resolution, the applications are made and they qualify as far as age and other restrictions that might apply, but then at the end of a year, it's an income based whether or not the disallowance continues. So once you determine that they're over a certain income, then that is disallowed. How I understand it.
And that's correct. They're mutually exclusive.
Correct.
Okay, it's progressive throughout the year, understood. And then 132 is to allow it for 2019,
To authorize, there's two individuals to authorize a senior citizen deduction for 2019.
and that'll be progressive, and then it'll be disallowed at the end of 2019.
Okay.
Correct, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the first public portion. We have our consent agenda. Any council person that would like to remove any of the items on the consent agenda, please speak up. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? Roll call, please.
Mr. Hutchison?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes, but I abstain
on the payment of the authorization of bills on R 1905-126, invoice 19-02121, invoice number 4150857. Everything else I'm good with.
Mrs. Winters?
Yes.
Mr. Mignon?
Yes.
Mrs. Trotta?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
Yes. We did not receive any GTE Gov Access emails. Now we'll open up the second public portion. This is for any item. Anyone wishing to speak, please raise your hand. Yes, Ms. Coyne.
Ms. Coyne, Shoes Landing Road. I just want to know if the township has any rules regarding sober living facilities in the township. They require licensing,
Mr. Carl Mayer?
Sober living?
sober living.
Just zoning regulations.
There are zoning
I would
regulations?
imagine there's issues of zoning that we can address that. I don't think there's anything specific that says sober living facilities.
So they could exist in a residential area and they don't require licensing or any oversight or...
No, I'm not sure if I can answer that. Unless you give some specifics as to what the circumstances of how it's being provided. I can't answer that question without some research.
So how do I find out?
I have to know more of the specifics. I don't know, Ken, if you are familiar with any procedure?
I really don't know what that means, sober living.
I think it's a house where people go to and they promise not to drink or get high. That's all they have to do to live there. They go from a rehab to a sober living house and they promise not to drink or get high.
Ms. Coyne, they are permitted in municipalities all through the state of New Jersey. I know that a few years ago, there was a resident that came in here with flyers that didn't want a home near Union Valley Elementary School. And they are permitted to operate. There's no ordinance against providing that.
I don't know of any ordinance that prevents a group of people living together as a family, as a single housekeeping unit.
Okay, but wouldn't it be a business operating in a residential area?
I don't even know what it is that you're asking, so I can't answer you.
Okay, it's a business that's being operated as a sober living facility in a residential area.
Sounds like a family to me, living together in a house.
No,
They
it's
might have-
operated as a business.
Ms. Coyne, there are several that are operating in our township that are in neighborhoods, residential neighborhoods.
Yes, I know that. I'm just asking if there's any rules that regulate them. If there's any zoning laws, any rules, any licensing requirements.
The clerk has indicated to me, Madam Clerk, would you like to?
They have to meet certain requirements under the state's laws, so they're licensed with the state of New Jersey, not within municipalities.
Okay, so Gloucester
So
Township
they're
doesn't
not
have any
considered a
specific
business.
regulations that govern them.
We would be preempted, I imagine, from enacting legislation if the state has enacted legislation.
Okay, so it's something I would have to look up through the state, basically. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mr. Krug?
Good evening, Council. Paul Krug, Blackwood. Mr. Owens, may I ask on the payment of the bills why you abstained from the particular line item? Did you disagree with the line item, or?
That way, perceived conflict of interest.
Okay. Only other thing I have for this evening was during the last April meeting, I did bring up my street wanting to be paved. It did get paved. I sent you guys an email. Thank you very much for the quick reaction time. That was a Monday. By Wednesday, I had a notice in my mailbox, and Thursday it was paved. In the email, I also sent a couple photos of after it was paved. This is the last time you'll hear me mention this, but I think the photos do show kind of the public-private opportunity there. Kevin and Bob from Road Supervisor, Assistant Road Supervisor, were both on site that day. I was able to articulate that particular proposal as well to them. So, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Krug. Is there anyone else? Mike, how are you?
I saw you were sitting over there.
Oh, yeah.
Duke.
actor sometimes.
I'm Mike Del Duke, 13 Edgewood Court in the aerial section. I'm just here tonight to speak for the police officer contract. Just curious, full disclosure, I do have a son on the force. I've lived here over 20 years, and I've raised my family here, and you've got one of them. I've always felt safe. I've never, I always complained about my taxes, as you know, but I've always felt that that was a cost of a safe environment, providing a safe environment. So I'm concerned when the contract just seems to be languishing on. My son actually joined the force in 2017, January 2017. And I remember when he came over from the force he was on, he actually took a slight pay cut. And he said, no, don't worry, they're signing the contract. We were relieved when he joined Gloucester Township. It's a safer community than where he was working from. So as relieved as we can actually be. But I'm concerned that it's languishing on. I'm wondering what council is doing. And I apologize if other folks have asked this in the past. I haven't been around much. So what are you doing to resolve this contract dispute? And I'm concerned, a little bit concerned, is a strike a possibility here? Are you planning for that, a contingency plan? It's been, what, how many months? It's been delayed 26 or 27 months since the contract's been signed. So can I assume you're saving money for this and you're preparing for it ultimately being signed?
Okay.
That's a
You got
lot of
any more
questions.
Okay, no, that's fine. As you're aware, or maybe not aware, we serve as the legislative side of government here. None of the members of council here are intimately involved with any of the negotiations at all. We approve budgets. We approve any type of expenses that are made. We approve contracts when they're sent to us. I am aware that there's a sticking point, or certain sticking points with the contract. We have 5 or 6 bargaining units total in total of 7 in our township. This is the last one that's remaining. It is my hope that we resolve this as soon as possible. And just as you echoed, I've lived in this community for 20 years. I feel completely safe here. And it's because of the men and women in the back there. Some of them are my friends, some that I socialize with, that I see them throughout this town protecting us. It is my hope that we resolve this as soon as possible. Some of those challenges, I'm not, and the sticking points that are in negotiations, again, I'm not involved with, and Mr. Cardis, who works with, as part of the administration with the mayor. I spoke to the mayor today, and the mayor today told me, he indicated that he sees there's much more progress that's taking place recently. But as far as if we're saving money, what I understand, and correct me, Tom, if I'm wrong, is that the steps are still taking place.
Yes.
So I oversee human resources for the Gloucester Township Public School District. We have steps with teachers. They have 15 steps when they max out. In a teacher's contract, if their contract has not been finalized or they haven't settled the contract, they remain at that step. They don't move to the next step. Here, the steps are still taking place. Am I correct on that?
Yes.
Okay. So, and the township has been keeping money in reserve once this contract has been settled to pay for those increases. Is that correct? Okay. So once a contract is brought to our attention, Mike, we will be more than willing to ratify and approve that particular contract. I've been here for 15 years. I was here when Stolzheimer was here and asking for more police officers. Chief Smith was here saying we're a city. And when he only had 112 officers, and now we're nearing 140 officers. And when we have residents that eyeball our budget and they take a look at how much we spend for our police department, it's well deserved, the money that we spend there. We all feel safe here. And with our crime rates down, that's a tribute to the men and the women back here. The tools that we provide them, they use it to the best of their ability. But once again, as a council here, we're trying to resolve this as possible. I've been in communication with the mayor and Mr. Cardis. As I said earlier, I spoke to the mayor this afternoon, and he said there is progress moving forward. And I'm glad that conversations are taking place now, rather than being in a standstill.
Appreciate your attention. Please
Thank you.
keep on the pressure.
Thank you, Mike. Is there anyone else? Yes, Mr. Chiavarlotti. I'm sorry to butcher your name.
Anthony Chiavarlotti, Glendora, New Jersey. Just for clarification purposes, how long have the police gone without a contract?
Ms. Carson, 2.5 years?
Contract expired on December 31st of 16.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, we'll close the second public portion. Polling the directors.
Mr. Carlemere?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Cardis?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Lechner?
I have nothing to report.
Chief Earl?
Good evening, Mr. President, good evening, Council. I just wanted to mention yesterday, 4 officers from Gloucester Township Police arrived in Washington, D.C., rode their bicycles there as part of the Unity Tour. So I just wanted to mention that, representing all the Gloucester Township Police officers during this very special week. National Police Officers Memorial Day is Wednesday. We'll wear ribbons over our badges for all the officers killed in the line of duty. So just to mention, give them a shout out for that hard work, riding all the way down to T.C. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Earl.
Mr. Chavo?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Hutchison?
Thank everybody for coming today, and Chief, you guys do a great job. Thank you.
Mr. Owens?
I'd like to thank the men and women of the police department. Thanks for coming out, and we support you. And Chief, as always, thanks for everything you do for the township here.
Mrs. Winters?
Same thing, I would love to thank you guys and gals. You all do a wonderful job. It's an amazing township to live in, and we appreciate all that you do.
Mr. Mignot?
I'm going to echo the same sayings, and Council President Mr. Mercado said, we feel safe because of you guys and gals. Thank you. Be safe.
Mrs. Strada?
Thank you all for coming out, and I think my counterparts echoed my sentiments, but thank you all for what you do, and thank you, Chief, for the great department that you lead and keeping us safe.
Mr. Mercado?
Thank you for coming out this evening. Just a few things that are happening in our community. If you have an opportunity to support St. Agnes's Carnival, this takes place the 16th, 17th, and 18th this week. Hopefully, they'll get rained out like last spring. Field of Dreams always takes place at 11 o'clock at the Valley Brook Fields. If you have an opportunity to work with some of the special needs children that we have in our township, please come out and support that. And lastly, on Sunday, May 19th from 12 to 5 at the library, the Blackwood Library in downtown Blackwood, is the first annual Arts District Festival that takes place from 12 to 5 on Sunday. Thank you very much for coming out this evening. I do appreciate it. With that, I entertain a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Circulating.